I am here with Eric Pirius, who played Albert Wesker in the 1996 Resident Evil video game. For all of you that remember with the live-action cutscenes the video games used to have in the mid to the end of the 90s. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I live in Minnesota in the United States. I work for a bank these days. I'm an avid cyclist. I did continue with voice work and acting throughout the 90s, primarily in Japan, and I did other video games as well as I was a jack of all trades, so to speak. I lived there, so I did trade shows, TV commercials. What else did I do? Instructional. I mean, you name it, whatever came along as far as media goes, and they needed a foreign face, as well as Resident Evil, which at the time I had no idea what it was to become.
And was that through like a talent agency or something along those lines? I think I saw something along those lines. Like, how did the Resident Evil project get on your radar?
If I recall, that was IMO, which was Inaka. I can't remember her name, but anyway, yes, talent agency, modeling agency, whatever you want to call it. Almost all of the jobs I got were through an agency. Very rarely was it a direct connection with the customer.
Now, were you then or now in any way a gamer of any kind? Did you play a little, not at all, or was this just like a gig like any other?
I had no idea. It was in the dark primarily. It was in a field. I think we were kind of in the foothills of Mount Fuji, and there was a storyboard, as always, that's pretty, coarsely drawn. I knew there was some rabid dogs, and somebody got their arm cut off, and there was a lot of smoke, and things were supposed to be scary, and not much more beyond that. Some hurried instructions in Japanese, and directors were famously stoic in Japan, and if you did good, you got a grunt, and if you did bad, you got no grunt. So okay. That was the extent of our direction. But as far as did I know what it was to become, no. Was I a gamer? I liked video arcade games. I was a child of the 80s, so I played arcade games. I played Atari when it first came out. But a gamer in the true sense, no. I don't have a souped-up PC, and I don't have a handle or an avatar, and nobody in Indonesia knows my name.
Was it clear from the outset that this was for a video game, or was it just, hey, you're doing a shoot, it's, you're running from some dogs, and did they make it clear that what it was for?
Yeah. I thought it was for a movie. At least initially, because that's what they kept talking about. Was they kept saying no, it's a movie. But yes, we knew who the sponsor was, and so we knew it had something to do with the video game. I don't know if we made the connection that the movie was going to be part of the game, or if the movie was a promotion for the game. I don't recall. And no, I don't know the name of that one girl. I don't know what her name is.
I did see that as she's the great mystery that played Jill. Nobody seems to be able to find her.
There's probably 50 people around the world that have asked me that question.
She's become like the video game Lindbergh baby, I feel.
Yeah. Never talked to her. I don't know who she is. Anyway.
Yeah. And so, what brought you to Japan? And then when you were there, what got you into doing acting and modeling and things of that nature while you were there?
Sure. Well, I graduated college, moved to Boston, and I got a job and was locked into society pretty quickly. My friend was in Japan, and I had an affinity for things Japanese. I went mostly on a whim for an adventure, something to do, something different to do, and I was going to teach English for, and I did, in fact, for a few years until I learned the language. And I'd always had a desire for acting and voice work, and so I made a voice demo. I put together a comp card. Actually, I have it here because somebody didn't believe me, so I dug it up the other day. And I just started beating on doors, and this is the kind of thing that's from.
Nice.
Yes, that's way back then. So I did young father stuff, young father, businessman. There's some TV commercials that I did. So that's how you do it, and then you go to auditions, and that's probably the hardest part. But after a while, you learn.
For this particular shoot that we're discussing here, this was extremely fast, right? About 48, maybe 72 hours, and it was the outside shooting was not exactly the greatest climate or temperature. Is that a fair statement?
It was super hot and humid, bugs and smoke and darkness, and a lot of yelling and really bright lights, and which led to confusion. I don't know. It was just nutty, run over there, look back. There, obviously in the shoot, there was no dog, right? There was no scary. There was nothing. It was just somebody would show you a storyboard, and then you'd get some, broken English, look scared, run over there, or I've seen the cut number of the making of it, or I don't know, some kind of excerpts people have posted, and I've got to watch it. And I think there's the one scene where we're all viewing somebody died or something, and somebody's like scratching one of the guys is scratching their chin, and another guy's going like that, and I just folded my arms and stared. I remember what was the instruction for that one was hado, which is English. It's Japanese English for hard. So they wanted a hard look. So, it was just kind of chaotic. It was fun. Japanese are accommodating for the most part, and pretty lighthearted in a situation like that. So it wasn't like, heavy duty or a lot of pressure or hurry up or, it was just a kind of a romp, really, for the most part. But it was, it was stifling. I think it was probably, I don't know, you think in centigrade, I suppose. I don't know, like 38 or something, or 36 or 7 at night, pretty hot, and 100% humidity. So,
and then of course there's Wesker wearing sunglasses at night, which had to make it more fun for you, to see anything.
Yeah. Yeah, made the dark even darker. I think that maybe that's why I didn't move much. I was afraid of tripping on something.
Don't blame you. And then, so the final product, when was the first time you actually got to see this?
I never did. I never saw it. I never thought about it until a year and a half ago when people started blowing me up on Facebook.
Gotcha. So people like me bugging you, now you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if no, I never did. Sometimes you would, right? You'd see it on TV, or somehow or other you'd end up seeing the final product, a commercial or print media. In this case, I didn't. I had heard of the game, but it's still around, right? No, I never saw Resident Evil, and no one ever showed me until a year and a half ago. I got some clips forwarded, and then if you Google it, there's enough out there to take a look at, which I have to do because nobody believes me, at least in my office.
What does that feel like to know that, for all the future video games and all the movies that they made and, the comic book adaptations, whatever it may be, any version that they show of Wesker is basically based on your face?
It's pretty cool. At first, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I was real disconnected from it. But then I began. Well, I got letters from, I think, a guy in Germany, who, I'm sorry if you see this, I haven't answered your letter. I will. Anyway, I started making connections with fans and reading what they wrote, or reading a letter, or somebody sends me a screenshot to sign. And eventually I understood what it means. And there's some recurring themes, what it meant as a child. To this day, I still remember it, or I still play the game, or, you meant this in my childhood. So I realized that it meant something to a lot of people. And then it started to mean something to me. And that's when I started responding, or, as much as I could, answering questions on Facebook, kind of a lot of them, what do you have for breakfast? I don't know, eggs. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm happy. Anybody that, as much as I can, I'd answer. So I started, trying to just represent as best I could. And I know that for somebody contacting me, they're contacting Wesker. And, it's just a piece of that character that means something to them. And that for me to answer back, or to give a little of my time, might mean quite a bit to somebody. So I started doing that as much as I can.
Well, it meant a lot to me, so I appreciate it. Yeah. So obviously you hit at the top here, but just to kind of reiterate, is there anything that you want to mention that you're doing today with your life? Anything that we'd like to get out there in terms of your current job or anything of that nature?
Well, I know that there's a Resident Evil movie being made. I tracked down the director's agent. I had to join some website for $30 a month or something. I got his email, and I said, "Hey, I'm the original Wesker, and I got a lot of vacation days saved up, and I think I should be in this movie." So if anybody else out there gets a chance, pimp me up and tell that original Wesker. I think that would be a draw for a certain number of people.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's just a cameo, right? I mean, how crazy would that be, right? They could dye my hair gold, and I could put them same glasses on, and I wouldn't look. I'd look older, obviously, but I'm looking frickin' Schwarzenegger, right? I mean, not that I'm comparing him, but what is he? 92, and he came back and.
Right. Yeah. Him and Stallone are all. So why not bring Wesker back? I like it.
The things that you take with you are the experiences in life, friends, family, and experiences. The rest of it's kind of fodder. And this is an experience that through you guys, the fans and gals, it's come to mean something to me. And a moment and an experience in my life that I've cherished and been able to share with others in my circle, because I'm like, hey, look at this guy from Brazil is, once made a sign a screenshot, and they don't believe me, and then they go, I didn't know you were in, and then they look at this. So I'm appreciative of all the folks that have reached out, and that's the most important thing I think I could share is just my appreciation for the Wesker fans that have reached out and made me feel like I did something unique, and I feel appreciated, and that's pretty special. So keep it up, reach out, and I'll answer back whenever I can.
Yeah, it was my favorite video game series growing up, and I remember playing that, and then the live action cutscenes have always stuck with me. And they just remade the second one, a little while ago, about a year ago. And I was thinking, God, I remember the live action opening of the first game. And just wonder if I can just find a little more information out about that. So thank you so much for giving me your time here and talking about the whole process behind that.
You're welcome, John. Anytime. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you again. Bye-bye.